welcome back to Storytime. This is part 3 of Reckless, the secret of the lava treasure. So we're gonna find out what happens next. So grab a blanket, grab a pillow, grab your favorite snack, a stuffed animal, whatever you need to be comfortable to listen to the story. I'm so excited for you to find out what happens in the last part of Secret of the Lava Treasure. You know, it's always a lot of fun to write stories like this, and sometimes people ask me, where do you get ideas from? Well, you know what? You can find ideas for stories all around you, no matter where you are. You can write stories based off things that are happening to you in life, or you can take things that seem like fun, like a treasure hunt, or an island, or a secret key, and write a story about something like that. Maybe you should try that too. After you listen to all 3 parts of Secret of the Lava Treasure, try writing your own story of some kind. You can make it about anything you like. You could write about a horse, you could write about a dog, you could write about an adventure. Whatever it is, write a story and tell someone that story. All right, well, I'm ready to tell you this story, the last part of Secret of the Lava Treasure, part 3. So let's find out what happens next. Lucy stared at Henry with an open mouth. She couldn't believe this. She couldn't believe he would just betray her like this to help his brother do such terrible things to the 7 islands. It wasn't right. Matildes leaped over the railing and landed on 2 booted feet in front of Lucy, pointing his golden sword right at her. March to the plank! She took 2 careful steps back, Mags resting on her shoulder. With one glance backward, she saw the long plank sticking out over the volcano mouth. Smoke continued to pour out of the opening and over the entire island. Now she could see the cloud drifting farther over the sea and closer to the other 6 islands out there. Well, I ain't perching around for this. Mags flapped into the air and dove, beak first, wings tucked to her side at Matildes. The man swerved to the side and Mags slammed into the mast behind him, her beak lodging firmly in the wood. Oh dear, she mumbled, flapping her wings and trying to pull free, but it was no use. The magpie was stuck fast. Matildes laughed. Ha! Silly bird! You can't defeat me! Lucy glared at him. This isn't right! Oh, really? And who made you the right police? You're just sad because your little island home really belongs to me now. He spread his arms wide. There's no crying over it. Everyone down on the island will have fallen fast asleep by now, and that makes you the only one left to save the day. Only that's not happening, is it, Henry? Henry smirked. Not a chance. Lucy took a step backward and found her heel on the plank. But this is wrong, and not because I said so, because God says so. Matildes rolled his eyes. God, really? Yes, Lucy shouted. God has told us to love one another, not hurt each other. He wants us to care more about people than about projects and machines or kingdoms. You're selfish. Matilde snorted. I am not selfish. I just want what I've always known is mine. The 7 islands belong to me. He lunged forward with the sword. Now get onto the plank. No. Lucy dove forward and right under Matilde's legs. She somersaulted out the other side, yanked Mags from the mast, and then ran for the railing on the other side of the ship. Stop her! Matildes cried. Henry raced across the deck, his boots pounding over the planks. Lucy whipped around and grabbed a rope hanging from a peg in the mast, slapping the end of the rope on the ground. Henry jumped backward and pulled a long, straight sword from his side and held it at her. Don't do this, Lucy cried, swinging the end of the rope back and forth in front of her. Mags adjusted her glasses. I think he's going to, dear. Lucy swung the rope across the deck as Henry shoved the sword at her. The rope slapped into his feet, sending him flying through the air and landing on his stomach with a loud oof. Henry's head thudded against the deck, and then his eyes closed as he passed out. Bootsteps pounded toward her, and Lucy ducked back just in time as Matilde shoved his sword at her. Only his sword went flying over the railing and flipping to the volcano mouth far below. No! Matilde gasped, racing to the edge of the deck. He leaned over. Lucy glanced over the side and saw the sword land right in the middle of a large gear, sticking right between the 2 notches. The volcano's machinery ground to a halt, groaning and scraping until it had completely stopped. The smoke wasn't pouring out of the pipes anymore. In fact, the whole thing had shut down because of the golden sword, gumming up the works. Mag smirked. Oh, well now, will you look at that, kiddo? Looks like your little plan failed by your own sword. Ha! The man slowly spun and glared at Lucy and Mags. You! The two of you! This is all your fault! I was gonna rule the world! I was gonna have it all, but you've ruined everything! Too bad? Lucy said, smiling and shrugging. And then faster than she could think, she whipped the rope over her head and threw it at Matilde's. It wound around his chest, pinning his arm at both sides. She dove forward, slamming Matilde's into the mast. Mag snatched up the end of the rope in her beak, and with 2 quick flaps around the mast, she had the villain tied up tight. Now that's what I call wonderful, Mag said, brushing her wingtips together. Henry stirred, shaking his head and standing up. What? Matilde's! Lucy took a careful step backward. Hank, don't call me that, Henry shouted. He clenched his fists together and furrowed his brow. You ruined everything. That's what I've been saying, Matilde said. Oh, put a scrub brush in it. Mags picked up a bristled wooden brush and stuffed the edge of it into Matilde's mouth. Henry, you have to know that what your brother was going to do was wrong. It isn't right. I don't care. You think I care about any of your island people? Because I don't. Lucy tilted her head to one side. Why not? Because that's why. Because it's not a reason, young man, Mag scolded. Fine, you want to know why? Henry took a deep breath. Because everyone has always been mean to me. Always. No one's ever been my friend. I used to live on this island. I knew Princess Carla. We always used to play with the seashells down at the beach and tell little stories together and give each one of them little names. But then, one day, Carla decided she didn't want to be my friend anymore. She decided she was too good for me, and so she left. She never came back to the beach to play with me anymore. I was so angry that I couldn't even see straight. So I went home and told Matilde's all about what happened, and that's when we decided to get revenge. Revenge on everyone who ever hurt us. But didn't you know? Lucy asked. Know what? Know that Princess Carla was captured by pirates? And then I had to help free her. Mags helped too. That's probably why she didn't come back to the beach. Not because she was too good for you or didn't want to be your friend. She was captured by pirates. She what? Captured by pirates, Mags huffed. Really, how many times can we repeat it? Henry slumped back against the railing. 2 tears sprouted from the side of his eye and trickled down his face. Carla didn't leave me because she didn't like me? She was captured? And I never helped her. And then I helped my brother send the smoke out of the volcano. I'm a terrible person. Henry sat down and put his face in his hands and sobbed. Lucy stepped over and patted his shoulder. Listen, you can make this right again. You can help us save her. Do you know how we can save the princess? A loud sniff echoed across the deck. Henry wiped a hand under his nose and flicked away the snot. Yeah, I do. We just have to give her the antidote. Well, where's the antidote? Mags asked. Matilde spit out the scrub brush and laughed. Ha! You're never gonna find it! Henry stood up and glared at his brother. Tell us where to look, Milt. We have to do the right thing and save the princess. Save the princess? You want to save the princess? Tell us, Lucy shouted. Fine, I'll tell you, Matilde smirked. You're never going to be able to get it anyway. Why? Mag squawked. Because it's at the bottom of the volcano, where the real lava is. There's no way you could ever get in there. He laughed at the 3 of them. We have to try, Lucy said. But how do we get down there, dear? Mags asked. Lucy patted the backpack she had on. With this. Come on. She raced to the side of the airship. The volcano mouth stood open below them, all the gears and machinery in the way. And at the very bottom, Lucy thought she glimpsed a slight orange glow. Lava. Mags flew over and clutched her shoulder strap. I sure hope you know what you're doing, kiddo. Henry hurried over too. I'm coming too. Lucy zipped open the backpack and grabbed a long red cord hanging to the side. 3, 2, 1. She jumped over the edge and yanked on the cord. Immediately, a huge red parachute flew up into the air. Henry jumped off the railing and grabbed onto a thick rope hanging from the chute, and together the 3 of them glided down into the volcano, Matilde's laughter echoing behind them. They drifted below the gears and landed on a rocky path winding down into the center of the mountain. Follow me, Henry shouted. Lucy dropped the backpack behind her as the whole volcano groaned. Mags's eyes went wide and her head flit from side to side. And what exactly was that? The magpie asked. The gears, they're still stuck on Matilda's sword, remember? And what happens if the sword doesn't hold? Henry asked. He glanced back and then looked ahead to Lucy. We don't want to know, she shouted. He put down the metal mask over his face and slipped on his leather gloves again. The heat rose the lower they went. The orange glow grew brighter and Lucy felt sweat dripping down her forehead. They made it to the bottom of the path, and in the middle of a pool of molten lava, they saw a rocky outcrop poking up out of the air. Resting right on top was a purple bottle with a large cork stuck in the top. A series of small stepping stones curved from the path out to the bottle, lava bubbles popping all around them. Mags, can you fly over and get it? Lucy asked. No, can do, honey. Warm up drafts. I'll never make it because of all the heat. I'll go, Henry said. Are you sure? I have to do what's right. Besides, I have the clothes for it. They'll protect me from the heat. He took a deep breath and put his foot on the first stone. With careful steps, he made it to the second and the third and the fourth. Lucy bit her lip and watched as he leaped to the next one. He was close enough now to grab the bottle. He reached out his leather glove and wrapped his fingers around the neck of the bottle, snatching it close to his chest. I got it, he shouted. He turned around and took one step back when the machinery above them groaned again. A large snapping sound shot down from above. The gears began to turn frantically, smoke pouring back out of the pipes and over the island. Oh no, Lucy cried, and then the lava below them gurgled. A large bubble burst and sprayed the side of the volcano with hot lava. Lucy ducked and Mags flew to her side, grabbed her shoulder with her talons. We've gotta go, Mags squawked. Henry jumped over as a large burst of lava shot up behind him, splashing back down into the pool. He leaped to the next stone and almost lost his balance. Lucy shot out her hand and grabbed his. Hold on, she yelled. She leaned back and Henry jumped just as another burst of lava shot up behind him. They crumbled onto the rocky path, the lava boiling around them. We have to get to the heart of the volcano, Henry shouted above the gears. If we pour this in, it will reverse the effects of the smoke. Well, we better hurry because this volcano looks like it's plumb ready to be spitting up like an overfed baby goat, Mags said. The three of them raced up the path, darting by gears and levers as they went. The lava below them slowly began to rise, bubbling over the path behind. It gurgled up at their heels and Henry reached a metal door that he threw open. Lucy dove inside, followed by Mags. Henry ducked in and slammed the door shut just as the lava rose past the window. The door grew hot and Henry, Lucy, and Mags pounded down the passageway and made it back to the chamber with the volcano's heart. Henry pulled out the cork and tossed it aside. Then he tipped the bottle into an open valve. The antidote chugged into the machine, and immediately all the gauges began whipping back and forth. Do you think it's working? Lucy asked. I hope so, Henry said. We just have to let the antidote pour out, and then we can shut the whole machine down. Lucy watched the gauges, and after a moment, the bottle was emptied into the machine. A periscope viewer hung down from the side of the room, and Henry peeked into it. It's working! The smoke cloud, it's turning blue! That means it's working! The cloud, it looks like it's falling over the whole island. It's probably safe to turn off the machine. He glanced up from the viewer. For real this time. He crossed over to the wall, lifted a small glass hatch, and pressed a brown button. Instantly, the machinery outside quieted. What about the lava? Mags asked. Henry hurried over to another wall and another gauge. Lava level's going back down. We did it, Lucy whispered. Thanks, Lucy and Mags. You both helped me a lot. I'm sorry for everything I did. Mags adjusted the glasses on her beak and put both wingtips on her hips. Just don't let it happen again. Mags, Lucy scolded. I mean, we forgive you, right, Lucy? Of course. Once the lava had gone back down enough, the three of them climbed their way out of the volcano, made it back down the stairwell, and approached Princess Kala's hut. From inside, they could hear people moving around. The door burst open and the princess yawned. It stretched. And then she saw Henry. Hank? He nodded and scuffed his boot in the sand. Yeah, are you okay? But before he could even finish the question, Princess Kala had rushed forward and thrown her arms around Henry. I never thought I'd see you again. I thought the pirates had gotten you. No, they didn't. Revenge got me. But not anymore. The ocean waves lapped up at their heels and Lucy smiled, leaning against the side of a palm tree, stretching over the hut's thatched roof. I'm sure you two have a lot to talk about, she said. Henry nodded. I need to tell you the truth, Kala. The truth? He nodded again, and together they walked down the beach as Henry told Princess Kala all about what had really happened with the smoke. Mags flapped up and landed on Lucy's shoulder. "You sure did good, kiddo." "Thanks, Mags. I couldn't have done it without you, though." "I don't know. If it weren't for you, I think we all would have left our head in the clouds and forgotten what was most important." Lucy smiled. "And what's that?" "That's the love of Jesus. He loves us, and we're supposed to take that love and share it with all the people around us, no matter what they've done or what we think they've done." "You're right, Mags." The magpie squawked and winked. "I'm always right, kiddo." And that is the end of the story. Well, thanks for joining us tonight and the last couple nights on reading The Secret of the Lava Treasure. Go ahead and now take some time and write your own story. Have fun with it. Make it something awesome and adventurous or whatever you want it to be. I hope you have fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.